Hi, Riddle here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber to today's topic, because we've all voted and it's so close. And regardless who wins, I'm just really disturbed. I'm disturbed that it is practically a tie, that it's 50-50. And why am I disturbed? I can articulate this really, really well. And what really upsets me is when I try to have these conversations so I can understand the other side with my Republican friends. They literally cannot discuss it. They can't defend it. Yet they're taking action to support something that they cannot. It is complete cognitive dissonance at its deepest level. So I'm going to give you a little bit more. When Joe Biden says, "We're fighting for the soul of the country," well, it's a bit dramatic, but what does he mean by that? And when I think about it, I don't think it is over-dramatized. People that are so terrified of socialism, for instance, most of them don't even know what socialism is. Most of them don't even have friends that grew up or benefited from socialism. Most of them have never even left the country, let alone their own town or state. So I always say it's kind of irresponsible or weak to have an opinion when you have nothing to base it on. You always want to do your homework. And I don't mean just reading facts that you're comfortable with on Google. I mean going there on the ground, talking to people and collecting information, because I have many friends who live all over the world, and I know that socialism is not perfect, but just like capitalism, it has a lot of good qualities. But the fact is, our country will never be socialist. It'll never be socialist. This was a dramatized, overblown fear tactic that people could sink their teeth into, even though most people don't know anything about what actual socialism is, or they would understand where our capitalism in the United States has turned sociopathic, which means, for an example, I trade stocks. How can it be when we hear a horrible jobs report that all these people have lost their job and aren't getting them back, and the stock market goes up? What is that? Is that a good thing? Does that benefit you or many of the hardworking, blue-collar, working poor that support the ideal of capitalism being this perfected way of life and the perfected way to run a country? Now, I'm all for capitalism, but when it reaches a level that it's actually separating and destroying what this country was built on. And what was this country built on? The United States was built on democracy and a thriving middle class. But what's happening now, because you have a 1%er as president, is that he is helping to create this huge divide. And soon we're going to have poor and we're going to have wealthy. And that is a third world country, my friends. And luckily, I'm on the other side. I shouldn't even care about this. But I do. Another thing, when they say, we're fighting for the soul of the country. Well, okay, so you're a Christian. Many, many, many religious people, Christian people, support Trump. Do you realize that Jesus was a socialist? The very man, the prophet, your God, the Son of God, was a socialist. So, can you explain that one to me? And then I'll take it to the next level. So you're a good Christian and you're You have a good heart and you're moral. You're a moral person. And you teach your children, don't lie. Don't make things up. And if they do, they're punished. Well, when I was a kid, the president was this person, and I know they're not perfect, but in general, the president was this person that was held to a really high regard. They had to have a higher form of intelligence of some sort. They had to have higher morals. They had to be transparent, have some kind of somewhat of a squeaky clean background. And I know that that's not realistic, but as a child, that's what you understood. Now we have this president that has lied and continues to lie and fabricate things. I think he's hitting like 30,000 like known documented lies. And it's not like, oops, I said the wrong thing, I'm sorry. No, he just says whatever the hell he wants to. So is that the example now for your children? Is that the example for society? That we no longer have to tell the truth about anything. We just say whatever serves our purpose, whatever lie. And can you imagine that being the example, along with the violence and the bullying? What will happen to this country? You're so worried about the gays, and you're so worried about these other, Satan groups? They have nothing on what he is doing and what you are supporting. Realistically, just with the lies. One more thing. A leader. You may have forgotten what a leader is. A leader of a democracy. When people are going against each other, when people are losing control and threatening violence against each other, steps in and talks against it. They guide the people away from conflict. But what do we see with Donald Trump? As long as you support him, he will let you do and encourage you to do anything you want to. That's not leadership. And that is not a person who is leading everyone, who has a concern for the well-being of a country. That's a person who has special interests. That's a person who is similar to, I hate to say the H word, but you know who that is, and other dictators that used the angry hordes, the mentally ill, the overly aggressive, and the prejudice, to turn on anyone who didn't believe what they believed, and they used violence to intimidate and shut them down. And that is exactly what Donald Trump is doing. And if you support him, I'm sorry. You are on the wrong side of history. And I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't know how you look at your children. I don't know how you go to church. Because everything that man stands for is dark. Dark, dark, dark. And I'm very, very disappointed in this country that half of this country is too goddamn ignorant or self-serving and hypocritical to see the obvious. And that's all I have to say today.